Welcome back, and I'm here with my second guest, Natalie Rainer of Keller and Heckman LLP, and we will be discussing mitigating risk through food packaging. Natalie?
Hi, Tara. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for joining me. And can you help our readers and listeners understand what's behind food packaging and the new technologies that...
Yeah, absolutely. So at Keller and Heckman, a large part of what we do is helping companies bring new food packaging technologies to market. FDA set up a system back in 1958 that included food packaging as potential food additives. So since the 1950s, there's been a mechanism for evaluating the potential migration of food contact substances to food, and then evaluating the safety of those exposures. And it's the same framework that's used for direct food additives. In the past, to get a new packaging technology to market, one would typically have to file a food additive petition. But about 20 years ago, that system was replaced with the Food Contact Notification System, or FCN program. And there's been over 2,000 FCNs filed since the beginning of that program. Many of them we've helped with. And that's the way that FDA now evaluates these new technologies. And what's really nice is that in the past, when you submitted food additive petitions, that review process would take several years. And now, once the FCN is submitted, it goes into effect automatically after 120 days, provided that FDA doesn't object. FDA often will come back with questions, and you've got 1 or 2 weeks to respond to those questions. And if you are able to respond adequately, then the filing becomes effective 120 days after after it was accepted. And so it's a great, really efficient program for tackling innovative products and bringing them to market.
And a lot of the technologies that are more modern for packaging, a lot of the regulations are playing catch up now.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like 10 years ago, there hadn't been as large of a market for biopolymers, for example. So biopolymers are produced by microorganisms like bacteria. That was unheard of. And so FDA has had to think about how to address that kind of technology. And over the years, as many more companies get into this space, FDA has evolved in its thinking, like what's the best food simulant to use when you're working with biopolymers? What's the worst case food simulant? Things like that. So, industry is developing, and FDA is, I think, rising to the challenge and learning, how to think about these new technologies and evaluate their safety.
What is one of the more interesting technologies that you've seen come into the fore?
Yeah, I certainly think that these biopolymers are really neat. It's such a it's almost like science fiction, that you can have this beautiful clear material made, from something that a bacteria produced. That's really neat. I think we're seeing a lot of activity in the recycling space as well. So that's another way that FDA provides a resource to industry, is they voluntarily offer a letter of no objection program, whereby companies producing recycled material for food contact applications can write to FDA and describe the process for recycling. And then FDA will evaluate the sufficiency of that process to clean post-consumer recycled material, or even post-industrial material like rework material that was never out in the consumer's household. So that's another way that FDA has been looking at innovative technologies, and there's a number of letters of no objection for these recycling processes, and those are all up on FDA's website as well.
And it's always interesting to see options that are a little more environmentally friendly, especially because the packaging industry does get a lot of flack for using plastics that aren't necessarily biodegradable, unlike the bioplastics.
Right, right. And so, and there are programs in, California that are maybe going to push food companies to start using recycled material in food packaging as well. And so it seems like the demand for recycled material is only going to increase. And so that's a really great service that FDA has been able to offer.
Is there anything you'd like to add before we close today and let people know how to get in contact with you and Keller and Heckman?
Yeah, thanks. So I'll give you my email address and my phone number. My email address is rainer@khlaw.com, and I'm available at 415-948-2821. And I would just encourage folks to reach out to experts in this space, because it is such a niche in terms of understanding how to evaluate a new packaging application. It's this complex combination of law and science, and our scientific staff. We've got chemists and toxicologists on staff that work with the attorneys to take this very multidisciplinary approach to evaluating these new technologies. So it's really good to make sure that you're thinking about your new packaging application with the right framework in mind.
Definitely. Thank you for joining, Natalie, and I look forward to sharing more of your contributed articles.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Our sponsor today is Dynamic Coatings Incorporated. They are FDA, USDA, OSHA approved. They have fast cure, antimicrobial, and they are compliant with all regulations. You can see them in Fresno, Sacramento, Los Angeles, or Oakland. Make sure to give them a call today and protect your flooring, as well as making it safe for your processing facility. And another one of our sponsors is Fine Print Plus. They're your source for printing, packing, and promotion. They have graphic design, prints and copies, custom apparel, promotional items, parcel service, and they just recently started a will call and delivery service. So if you have anything up to 8,000 pounds, they can store it and deliver it for you if you need a intermediary. Make sure to call them at 559-237-4747. Email them at graphics@fineprintplus.com, or go to fineprintplus.com/quote and ask for a quote.